Hi guys, it's Bill, and I got another great idea for you. So, this is I did something kind of similar, but I've really kind of tweaked it. You know, I've made it a few times now. And this is what I call a Reuben pastry. And it's just like really, really good and really fun. So, to start with, I got a little butter in here. I got to get some heat going. I had it turned down real low. And basically I got half a cup of chopped onion and half a cup of chopped carrot. And basically I just want to start to get it softened up here. I'm all excited. I'm using my new pan. My old one just finally, rest in peace, let me tell you. But I guess after, 20 years that's okay, or actually it might not have been that, 15 years. So, when you want to saute, stir fry, whatever you want to call it, and there's a little butter in here, not sure I said that. I just kind of single layer it out. We're going to get it warm. I'm trying to be so gentle with my new pan. Oh, look at that, torch it up. You can tell by the burn marks on the bottom. I hear it sizzling. And like I said, this is not going to take long at all. It's got everything nicely spread out now on the butter. So we're just going to kind of let it be. And just when the onion starts to get a little translucent, and one of the things I always notice, because I like carrots, is when you start to stir fry or saute carrots, you get that aroma from the carrots, kind of that rooty, kind of really cool smell that makes carrots so good. And carrots have all that sugar in them, and so when we quick saute them like this, we're going to get all that goodness out. And I try not to like kill it in all sorts of other flavors. So, let's see. Another part you heard from. Alright, so basically, just got that onion just softening up. And here's the trick. There's always a trick. I got half a cup of sauerkraut. Now this is Bavarian sauerkraut because I want the caraway seeds in it. If you have regular, that's fine. You're not going to ruin anything. But I put it in a sieve and then I squeeze the heck out of it. I just want half a cup, so everything's half a cup. I'm going to break this up a little bit. And why do you think I'm doing this? I want to really, really get the liquid content out of all these things. Because otherwise they're going to steam in the pastry. Frozen puff pastry sheets are great. I mean, you can use them for so many things and they're just kind of cool. Presentation is just awesome. Alright, so I'm looking real careful and I can see the beads of water in my branding pan. And I just want to get them if you squeeze the heck out of enough, it really shouldn't take, out of sauerkraut, it really shouldn't take a whole long time. Smell them caraway seeds and the carrots. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is so good. Let's get this turned down. Everything's getting real nice. The onion's translucent. I don't see a whole lot of water in here. So for flavor, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off now because it's going to hold heat. And if you have electric, you can just move it aside. You know, the gas is going to cool down pretty quick. But you need to just move it aside. And this is a better vantage point for filming, so I'm going to leave it right here. I just want like a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half of any kind of mustard, you know, like your deli kind of mustard. And I just want to make sure I got just enough for flavor. I don't want to be too strong a component. So deli mustard has horseradish in it, which is great for flavor. And you kind of got that, you know, more ground, stone ground mustard seed thing going on. And I just want to make sure I got just enough. Well, and I think I did a great job. So what I'm going to do is let me move it over here, and I'm going to take a picture and show you what it looks like. So I know it's not really easy to see, but everything's really dry in there. The onion's translucent, the carrots are soft and tender, and we got just enough mustard. You don't see a whole lot of mustard in there, just enough to keep everything a little happy. And I'm going to let this cool for about 10 minutes and we'll be back. Alright, so I've changed stations. I got my oven preheating to 400, and this is, I put it in a little bowl, nice and cool. It's faster to cool it this way. And I got my pastry. Let's just see how she looks. They're so fragile. Okay. So you want to flour your work surface, and I just toss a big scoopful on. And I learned this a long time ago from a pastry chef, that if you kind of run your fingers through it, it kind of breaks up any lumps, and then you really want to just kind of sweep it, because you don't want everything just coated. And as soon as I set this pastry shell in this, so I've got like a wall of flour on each side, but it's well dusted in the middle. And now look, my hands are all dusty, so guess what? I'm not going to ruin the shell. So I'm just going to do the same thing here. And, whoa, let's see. So when you're unfolding it, just be careful, because you don't want to crack it in half. You can kind of work it with your fingers. And I'll tell you that it always cracks me up that the instructions say like, oh, 40 minutes at room temperature, take it out of the bag. If you do that, it's going to dry out and it's going to turn into mush. Or even better than that is microwave it. I'm sorry, you really can't microwave this. Once again, I'm just going to, and this is the inside one, so it's a little bit cooler, which is the other part of the problem. Okay, look at that. It's a beauty. So this side's going to be a little softer because the outside, and this side's going to be a little cooler, and I can feel it in my hand, it definitely is. Got those magic floured hands. Just want to take a peek at. Now, the other thing I like to do is I'm going to flip it because I want to see, we've basically sealed any issue to the seams, but I want to look at the other side just to make sure. So I'm just going to try. Oh, look at that. All right. Beautiful. Because I flipped it this way, same thing. This side's the cool side, this side's the warm side. And when I roll it, I want to roll it kind of this way. So in essence, I kind of want to make it a little longer this way. That way I'm going to run over those seams real well. So I'm going to take my rolling pin, and I still like nice wooden rolling pins. And I want to work the cool side the most, because guess what? It's still a little cooler. If I can come back over and this side's going to roll right out. This side still got a couple little lumps in it. And I don't know about you, but I used to watch my mom muscle through, my grandma muscle through. No. That's why I like using a heavy roller pin. In fact, I used to use a marble on it. No, I didn't really like it that much. This is nice because it's got ball bearings in it, so it spins really easily. Alright. And does it have to be perfect? No. Alright. Set that aside. Try not to get your rolling pin dirty other than flour. If you get a lot of like pastry on it because it was too sticky, make sure that you clean it very carefully. You really don't want to destroy that beautiful wood finish. Alright, so what do I got in the fridge here? I got myself some pastrami and I got myself some Swiss cheese. I bought a lot of pastrami because I had no idea. I didn't know if I was going to make both of the crust, but I think for right now I'm just going to make one. So remember, a lot of stuff here. I make some. So you don't want to go right up to the very edge. And this was a little thicker cut than I wanted. I try and tell that to the high school kids that work in the deli, right? They're all good kids, they all know me. Probably watch my show right now. If not, they're in trouble. Alright, so even though it's got holes in it, this is going to be my, what's going to kind of seal up my pastry and keep the other stuff out. I actually looked for, I was trying to find packages that had the least amount of holes in them. So now what I'm going to do, now this is brisket pastrami, it tastes a lot better. And the guy went crazy and cut me a ton of it. I'll be having like Reubens, I'll be doing all sorts of stuff. And it's a little long, so what do? We just start to peel. And I just want to make like a little thin layer. I must say they do know me and they do a great job. I appreciate them. So I could do probably a little more, but I want to get this initial layer done. And the clock's ticking because my pastry shell is warming up and it's going to start to dry up. So I just have some of this mixture, right, that we grilled. It's cool now. And I just want to spread it on here. And you always want more than you need, because if you don't have enough, you're kind of SOL. We're going to keep that barrier, that ½ inch from the edges. I'm pretty sure we're going to just about do it. Just not quite all of it. And the problem is, if you put too much in, you're going to have too much stuffing, it's not going to roll right. It's not even going to taste right when you try and cut it. So you really want to refrain from just going crazy. which I tend to do, so trust me, this is really hard for me. And if I were making this for myself at home and I didn't really care what it looked like, I'd just dump the whole thing in there. Gotta be careful, you don't want all those stragglers in my way. So just give it a once over. Now, I'm going to do my pastrami. And just for the fun of it, I'm going to go the other way. So I never understood when I was younger that brisket pastrami is what I call real pastrami. That's like New York deli pastrami. You can get it top round, but the brisket tastes so much better. You can always tell it's the thin things. If you get the other style, it's like a roast beef. If you've ever been to a deli in New York, they'll tell you that's the fake stuff. I think I'm a little crazy. Yeah, we'll know when I'm in it. Oh look, good timing. Oven's at temperature. So, what I put that in? I didn't know I had that here. So, what do I need to do? I want to get some Thousand Island. Now we're going to be really, really stingy with the Thousand Island. I want to really keep it towards the center, because we don't want this stuff getting all funky and oozing out the edges and ruining our seam. So I'm basically going to make like 3 stripes, stripes. And keep it really, really in the center. It's not that good. If you use it that thinks that it's not going to work out, I can promise you you're wrong. Well, maybe. So now I'm going to start with this edge. Remember, my seams go this way. I'm going to start with this edge. And you can kind of stretch it. Just be careful. That's why I roll it this way, because if I were to stretch it the other direction, I'm going to rip those seams right out. And we're going to get messy. Told you. So I need to do emergency work. I'll make sure this all gets tucked in. Hold on. I know I've got a colossal issue here. This is real cooking. This is what happens because I always go a little crazy. So clean hand. Alright. So what I want to do is I want to get some of that back. Too much. It went a little crazy. Now, I'm going to take this edge. Remember I said we can kind of stretch it? Be really gentle. Really gentle. Now, I'm not worried about the Thousand Island. I just want to make sure I don't have all some of this stuffing. I should take my spoon here. Okay. Now let's get down to business. Working. It's working with me, not against me. Semi. Oh, Alright, believe it or not, it worked. Like I said, you just want to be very gentle. I'm going to grab a paper towel here real quick. So I can keep my hands clean. All I want to do, I just want to clean this up a little bit. Note to self, be more careful next time. Alright, so now what we want to do, just want to work this seam. We want it to kind of stick together. Now what I'm just going to do is going to do a little pinching action. I want to seal the edge. Ends. Stick it back in. The dough is really getting nice and flexible, but at the same time that means the clock is really ticking, because it can really come apart on you. Okay, so I'm going to turn this so you can see how I'm just kind of working the dough together, just sealing it like a little envelope. Okay, now what I want to do, hands clean, I got my dirty 100-year-old pan with a nice clean piece of parchment paper that I cut. I was getting down to the bottom of the roll, so what I had to do was I put a cutting board in there. You can put cans of soup or whatever to flatten it out. Now I want to get this whole thing up there before it gets too soft. Okay, that looks good. Get rid of this, because I don't need this right now. Somehow I keep managing to stick my thumb and stuff. Alright, so what do I have? I got 1 egg white, and I just want to whip it up a little bit, just till it turns color. Just till I break it down a little bit. I'm not making meringue, I just want to get it broken down. I just want to get some of this, especially on the ends, across the top here, because you're going to get a nice golden color. Alright, so one last little check. It's all sealed up. Everything looks good. This is going to take about 45 minutes in that 400 degree oven. But I encourage you to take a look after a half hour, make sure everything looks good. Then get it in the oven and we will be back. My oh my, does this look lovely? So, as soon as I got it out of the oven, I picked up my parchment paper, which is why I love parchment paper, and transferred it here. And I just literally let it sit here for a minute so I could, because you know the pastry doesn't hold heat like the inside will. So I just want to make sure, oh look at that, beautiful, didn't stick, nothing ran over. It did pop open. but it's still beautiful. This is still like so artistic. You can see how lovely. You can see the Thousand Island here, the pastrami, all that Swiss cheese. So the only thing you really got to do with this is we want to really gently cut it, because I don't want to tear up that. And it took about 40 minutes. I used my convection oven, so it took a little less, but you'll want to. Oh, that's a beauty. So basically, you can see how the pastry is really puffed right up. It looks so good. Now you always remember that you got all the food in there. So the bottom, you just want to make sure, and I'm going to show you, it's kind of hot, but it's definitely cooked. But it's not going to puff like the top will. But let me tell you, this is exactly what you want. Carrots and onion and that mustard in there, and then Thousand Island just interacting with it, with all the pastrami and all that Swiss cheese. And this has a perfect crust. I mean, just doing that little egg wash on there just really made that crust just pop. I mean, this is a thing of beauty. Remember, the puff pastry is kind of fragile. If you wanted to heat it up, I'm going to eat it for lunch because it's almost lunchtime. So, but if you wanted to heat this up, I would make sure you cool it down all the way so we can get all that steam dissipated out of it, so it doesn't soften up your crust. Wrap it in plastic, and you can toy with the idea of throwing it in the oven. If I hadn't cut it in half, that's probably what I would do. Just a 300, 325 oven, depending on your oven, for like 10 minutes just to get it heated. And then that's when you would cut it into pieces. And I don't know what else to say about this. I'm really flabbergasted. This is just absolutely just beautiful. And I like the effect of it. I think this is the way it should be. It's kind of rustic and imperfect and tastes great. Remember, it does have to look good, smell good, and that'll entice you to try it, and it will taste good. So, as always, so I can get to eating here, is please watch my videos. Better yet, subscribe. And if you hit that notification bell, you're going to know every video I put out. I throw them out every couple days. And comment, tell me if you have questions. Oh, I never used a puff pastry, what do? I will very detailed tell you how to handle a puff pastry. Whatever it takes, or if you have idea what to substitute. I mean, you could do anything with this, But either way, I have to go because I have to eat. And I'll see you next time. Have a great day.